Most of the Republicans in tonight's debate for U.S. Senate eagerly attack their opponents.
Still, topics were addressed from the pandemic to border control, abortion, and inflation. James Crummell joins us now with more. James.
Good evening, Valerie and Alicia. Yeah, things got really heated. All five candidates for the U.S. Senate Republicans, they all stood right here on this stage, and at times things got very heated. Topic 1, electability. Right out of the gate, the candidates were asked about how long they've lived in the state. Our poll shows that's important to voters. That's an issue both frontrunners, Dave McCormick and Mehmet Oz, have been criticized for.
I spent 10 years building a great company in Pittsburgh that created 600 jobs. And throughout that time, throughout my entire life, we've had the family farm for 45 years, and I've been the owner of that family farm for the last 10 years. So my Pennsylvania roots are deep.
Well, Pennsylvanians that I speak to are quite clear. They care much more about what I stand for than where I'm from. But I did grow up less than 10 miles from Kennett Square.
They want one of their own. You know, I don't make many promises on the campaign trail, but I can promise the people of Pennsylvania that when these carpetbaggers lose, you will never see them again.
Pennsylvanians know I will always fight for them because I always have. I always will because I always have. That's the key differentiator in this race.
I am an 8th generation Pennsylvanian, so my family's been in Pennsylvania longer than anyone else in this race. And as a matter of fact, my first real job was at Hershey Park.
If you've been watching TV over the past few months, you know this race has been vicious with attack ads. It didn't take long for the gloves to come off in this debate either.
These are ads primarily run by one of my opponents, Mr. McCormick, and they are designed to try to fool the electorate. Mr. McCormick approached President Trump with these types of information, was unable to pull the wool over his eyes. President Trump saw right through him. He therefore did not endorse Mr. McCormick. He endorsed me.
I've done business around the world in 20 countries, including 2% of our business in China. And it's just disingenuous for Mehmet to say that when Mehmet has so many dollars coming in his pocket from China, which we can talk about, that it's sort of mind-boggling. Mehmet has flip-flopped on every major issue.
They've spent $60 million fighting with each other. And people pat themselves on the back and bang their chest about how wonderful they are. This election is about fighting for the people of Pennsylvania, making Pennsylvania what she can be. We can't have this. We have to beat the Democrats in November.
Be very mindful and be very clear. It doesn't take much for someone to learn our talking points as conservative Republicans and then come back on stage and parrot them to us.
We need someone who can win this election. I'm a reliable conservative voice that will always vote conservative and America first in Washington.
More sparks when the topic changed to the economy, the supply chain crisis, and jobs.
Democrats can change absolutely everything tomorrow if they wanted to. They would just have to admit that every single thing they've ever done and said has been a complete and utter failure.
I'm running to save Main Street, Pennsylvania. The two out-of-staters, the two tourists who've moved here to run, they don't know Main Street, Pennsylvania. They haven't cared to spend time there until they decided to run for office. You can't save Main Street, Pennsylvania if you cannot find Main Street, Pennsylvania.
I'm not going to be out Pennsylvanian or out America first by anybody on this stage. This is where Mehmet's got a real problem. Because in his own words, he said as recently as October 13, 2014, that we should have a ban on fracking in Pennsylvania.
Dishonest Dave is at it again. He went groveling to President Trump with, again, these types of allegations. President Trump saw right through him, did not endorse him, and then he endorsed me.
The candidates also talked about election fraud, COVID, immigration, and transgender athletes. They all agreed trans women should not be able to compete in women's sports. It was a crowded stage here tonight and a lot to sort through. Time will tell whose message resonated with the voters the most. Alicia, back to you.
James, thank you so much for that wrap up. Now, if you missed any part of tonight's debate, you can see it in its entirety along with last week's Democratic Senate debate on ABC27.com. Just look under your local election headquarters. And Wednesday night, we welcome the Republican gubernatorial candidates. That will be our third and final debate of this primary season. You can see it right here on ABC27, live on air at 8 p.m. and streaming live on ABC27.com.